Hello and welcome to Super Lady Hero Hour here on FANVERSATION. Welcome back. I am Yael Teagle. I'm joined, as always, by the Lady KB. Hello, KB.
Hello. So wonderful to be back. We had a week off and now we are back at it to chat about our first watch of Doom Patrol and some superhero news. And a lot of things happened while we were away. I mean, like a ton of things happened. So let's start with the first rumor, not yet confirmed, but likely will still happen. Moon Knight is in discussion with Oscar Isaac to play the titular character. How are you feeling about this? I absolutely know nothing about Moon Knight. I will say that, and I am not ashamed to say it. I have not read this comic. I know nothing about Moon Knight. I am curious. I will now dive in. You have my attention. Oscar's a hottie. And so, let's see.
Yeah, I like Oscar Isaac as a performer. I think he's a really good actor. I'm excited to see him in any role that he takes. I was excited to see him as Apocalypse. I was disappointed, but I was excited to see it. So, I'm excited to see this. I recently spoke about this rumor, and they have a director assigned to this project as well. And I spoke about this with my friend Katrina Dennis, who is an amazing journalist and knows a little more about this character than I would say we do. And she says that this is good casting. But even better than that, she says that the director they chose, who I can't remember their name at this time, is someone of a similar background to the character of Moon Knight. They're from the same place or the same region of the world. So that's very exciting.
So it's Jeremy Slater.
Jeremy Slater is part of the
It's going to write the team. Yes.
Yeah. But the director is someone else whose name I can't remember. Was also tapped and is from the area, whereas Jeremy Slater is the one who gave us the Umbrella Academy on Netflix, which I was not familiar with and freaking love. So I'm stoked to see what Jeremy Slater does.
I was just about to say, you love the Umbrella Academy. I actually have not seen it. I've watched one episode. It did not pull me in, but you love it. So I am curious to see if I need to change my life and start the Umbrella Academy now, but now that Jeremy Slater is writing Moon Knight.
Yeah, I think, if it's anything like that, then I'm going to freaking love it. But I don't believe it will be. I think it'll be something completely different, but I'll probably really enjoy it. I'm stoked for that news.
Yes.
Sorry, that rumor.
We're both like, yes, rumor, news. Well, something that is confirmed is the new Batwoman suit. So earlier, this year, I'm not going to say what month, because honestly, I don't remember. But we saw Javicia, who is the new Batwoman for season 2. We saw her don the old suit. We knew it was the old suit. It was just a promotional shoot. We were like, okay, when are we going to get the new suit? This suit is BA. I love it. I think this suit is incredible. I'm not really feeling the wig that's in these photos. I will say I have seen Javicia and other photos that she's posted, and the wig looks a lot different to me and a lot better. I'm feeling the red ombre. Yes, I love that. But I wish we could just do a little bit more with the texture. That's just me personally, just being the picky Black woman that I am about hair. And that all Black women are really, if I'm being honest about our hair. And so, yes, but I love the suit. I love the details. I love the cape. I think she looks fierce in it, and I truly cannot wait.
As not a Black woman, not a woman who knows hair, not a woman who knows anything about wigs, I think it looks good. I'm also comparing it to what was on Ruby Rose's head. And compared to that, this is fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please bring that up, because I was like, why y'all do my girl Ruby like this with this wig? My goodness. And they never changed it. Like, it was just a consistently bad wig all season. And I was like, oh no.
I mean, that one genuinely looked like they glued a Jessica Rabbit wig on top of the mask. Whereas this one looks like And just from these pictures, it looks like the mask is the front and then it's her hair.
Yeah, like she has a proper cowl and actual hair versus whatever it was that we gave Ruby in season 1. Like, oh my gosh, I'll never forget that wig. And your analogy is spot on. That Jessica Rabbit, and I love Jessica Rabbit, but yeah, not on the Ruby Rose, whatever that was.
It really did look like they took a Halloween wig from a bag, not even like a fancy one that you buy off a wig head, from a bag, and glued it to the back of a like helmet. That's what it looked like. And this looks like a person with hair and they have like a mask.
What is that, guys? Growth. That's what I see. I see growth. And we are very proud of the CW for that growth. Still have a long way to go, but we're getting there. And I appreciate it. I can't lie. Yeah. So next up in our news, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I feel like we're never going to see this movie. Like, it kind of also feels that way. I mean, you know how I feel about quarantine and everything that it's doing to our film slate. So now the movie is scheduled to come out August 6th, 2021. And James Gunn recently just kind of took to Twitter to say whether or not everyone will survive. Now, Yale hates this ginormous cast. I mean, she already is like, there are 9,000 people in this film. So we know that they cannot all last. We know that they cannot all survive. And basically, James Gunn is like, yeah, y'all right. Somebody's going to die. And maybe the body count will be high.
Shock. I feel like it's like if I came out here and went, hey, I have news to share with you all. I'm on the internet. Yeah, we know. That's what he did, was he went, the people are going to die. Yeah, we know. This wasn't helpful. This wasn't a scoop. This was known. It is known. We know this, to paraphrase SNL. I think that good for him. This news is great. Also, August 2021. Don't tell us anything until we get closer to that. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, who's going to remember?
Yes, honestly. I mean, I still don't think that it's going to be Peacemaker, seeing as we are going to get that TV show and it's going to tie in. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be Peacemaker unless the Peacemaker TV show is in a different timeline, right, which anything is possible, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like probably 50% of this cast is not going to make it. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good guesstimate. We have our heroes, some of our returning heroes from the first film. Maybe they're the ones that, get axed. I don't know. Minus Harley, because we know we got to keep Harley. We need another Birds of Prey film. We need to see more Harley Quinn, but maybe they're going to be the first ones to sacrifice themselves. Maybe some of these unknowns. I don't know. But basically, people are going to die. The body count's going to be high. James Gunn, wait until July to tell us more, because maybe then we'll remember. Maybe then we'll care a little bit more. I don't know.
At that point, we'll know if the movie's actually coming out or not.
And maybe we'll be done with coronavirus, and maybe we can actually kind of push this film, out in August for real. Yeah. Instead of it being like December 2021, January 2022.
Why bother teasing it at this point? We saw the promo. Great. In a few months, remind us that it's coming out allegedly in August. A few months after that, give us an actual trailer. And then maybe it'll hit theaters. That's all I'm asking.
I live my life in pure skepticism when it comes to when movies are coming out at this time.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree. I don't believe anything's coming out, to be honest. So here we are. I just mostly mind my business. The only thing I know that is going to come out consistently are Hallmark Christmas movies. That's it. That's all I know. I know that I will definitely see those. So we are.
They've been out for a month already.
And I enjoy one a day. I mean, truly, I love it. I'm living my best life. So on to some CW news.
Yes, we have the new schedule.
Yes, but before then, we have Stargirl. We have Stargirl news.
Okay, we can
Guess
start
what?
there.
Let's start with Stargirl, because actually Stargirl ended up being like our summer fave. I feel like we ended up being like, wait a minute, do we actually really like this show about these teenagers who do everything wrong 24/7? We do.
Yep.
And it looks like we found our Eclipso and we found our The Shade. So the two primary villains of season 2 of Stargirl, which is probably going to start shooting soon. Which I also just say probably because we had a schedule for shooting and then lots of people got COVID and they had to revamp that. So maybe it'll start shooting soon. Doesn't matter, because we found the 2 actors who are going to play the 2 lead villains this year, and that's what's most important. So I actually don't know. I have not watched The Expanse, but Nick Tarabay from The Expanse is going to be playing Eclipso. Have you watched The Expanse? Do you know anything about Nick?
So I did watch a few seasons of The Expanse. I'm not a fan of it. And I definitely do not recall this actor from it. But, The Expanse is quality Canadian TV, and they're shooting, I believe we'll be shooting in Canada as the CW is known to do. So that makes sense to me. I'm just trying to pull up these pictures for everybody. So sorry. So that we can see the cast.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't watch The Expanse, and I have heard that it would be a show that I'm into. Like, a lot of people tell me that regularly. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you should watch The Expanse. I think that you would love it." But Nick on the left is actually going to be playing Eclipso. So shout out to Nick. Maybe I'll start watching The Expanse now. I don't know. And then Jonathan Cake from The Affair, which I will admittedly say I left The Affair after season 2. Might pick it back up because it just got Showtime again. So yes, Jonathan Cake from The Affair is going to recur as the Shade. So I am curious to see kind of what they bring to these 2 villainous characters. Obviously, we know Joel McHale is not dead. Spoiler alert. Starman's alive. So I don't know how all of this is going to tie in. But I am so excited. I didn't really think that I was ever going to be this excited about this show. I had people DMing me like, watch Stargirl. And I was like, meh. And then Yell's like, no, really, watch Stargirl. And I'm turns out I became a fan. Y'all knew what I liked. So yes.
I'm really excited to see them. I am excited to see new villains that aren't just, their parents. But I will say I'm not surprised, maybe disappointed that we have 2 more adult male villains in a show that is led by a woman, and the coolest characters are women, and the other villain, Shiv, is a woman. Like, why do we have more grown men attacking little girls? Like, I just don't know that I just would be interested to see something different. That's all.
I don't know necessarily. So we know that Shiv is going to be kind of Stargirl's villain.
Right.
And maybe the Shade and Eclipso are going to be more focused on Starman now that he's back. Maybe they're going to try to kind of separate that whole thing in dynamic. And obviously they will all 3 be a threat to the entire team. Right. But I think maybe the focus will kind of be like that now that Starman's back.
Just a little problem that I have with that. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves when you have a woman who is a fighter, who is good at this stuff, and they don't let, because you can't hit a girl, so you can't have a girl fighting a grown man. You know what I mean? Because it's just a weird thing that happens a lot in movies, that women fight women and men fight men. And if that's how they're going to do it in this, where Starman is going after these 2 adult guys and she's going after another girl.
But I don't think it's because she can't fight them, because last season she definitely fought a ton of men.
I know. It's just a pet peeve of mine that happens on TV and movies.
Oh yeah. Like I don't think it's because of that reason though. Because last
Right.
season, I mean, she was definitely kicking butt with a lot of grown men last season.
Yes.
I was just thinking because now that he's back, it might have more to do with like him being chased by these
Mm,
people type deal. Like these villains are following him, they've been tracking him, et cetera, et
sure.
cetera. Like more with his storyline than her. But obviously, every villain's still posing a threat to the full team, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Totally makes sense.
But I guess we gonna find out because I don't
We
know.
are going to find out because the CW has decided that they're ready to come back. So we have a few scheduling stuff. Stargirl's not on the schedule yet. But January 17th, Sunday at 8 p.m., Batwoman returns. We also know that in February, starting with Monday, February 8th, Black Lightning returns. And then a few weeks later, Tuesday, February 23rd, The Flash returns at 8, and we get the series premiere of Superman and Lois at 9. All of this, plus the other CW premieres, Riverdale, All American, all of that is available at fanversation.com. There's a link in the description below to check out that whole list of scheduling. I'm so stoked that our stuff is coming back. I think this rollout is very odd that Batwoman comes out and then a few weeks later The Flash and then a few weeks later more, or Black Lightning, then The Flash. It's a weird rollout. What do you think?
I don't think it's a weird rollout. I think, I think they're trying to test the waters with Batwoman and get some kind of additional press and play and watching around that, which makes sense because, you're starting off season 2 with a brand new character. And I think they want to give her a little bit of traction ratings wise. So that makes total sense to me. Black Lightning coming back makes sense to me. And then pairing up the Flash with Superman and Lois makes sense because I do feel like the Flash and Superman and Lois will kind of have a very similar campy vibe-ish. I don't think that Superman and Lois is going to be as campy as Supergirl, but I do think that it's going to have more of that like feel good feel with some like adult layers, kind of like the Flash. So I think pairing them together works as well. The Flash is literally the CW's most watched show ever. So it makes sense that they're saving it for last because you want to build the momentum around your other shows and get them going because they already know people are definitely going to watch the Flash. When this lineup came up, I don't know where I've been watching The Flash the entire time it's come on. But I was like, oh my God, y'all, are we in season 7? Like, I was like, wow, that happened super fast. Like, I can't believe we're already in the 7th year of this show. So I'm curious to see what they're going to bring this season. I'm curious to see what everyone's going to bring. So
I think I miss the fall, release. I miss, that we have this week. On Monday, we have these shows, and on Tuesday, we have these shows. And so the idea that they're spreading them out weeks apart is I'm impatient. We all know it. Also, where are the rest of them? Where is Supergirl? Where is Legends? I mean, Legends, I know they're holding, but like, where are
they
my
said they were holding Supergirl too, though.
Yeah, but Legends, they hold. Supergirl, give it to me. Just give me my shows.
Well, no, but I'm saying they already announced that they were going to hold Supergirl too. So, like, but yeah, I just expected that they would hold that because they said they were going to hold it. And with this being the final season and it being a lot shortened, I knew it was going to be held. And then, Legends. So I just think that we're going to have to be pacified with these 4, and we're going to have to be patient, and good things come to those who wait. So we don't have to wait that much longer. I mean, just get through the holiday seasons, and spend all the time with your family and watch some other dope things because there are still regular TVs back, which obviously Yell and I are excited about for this week because some of our faves are coming back that are non-superhero related. So, we'll just give it some time. Give it some time. We're almost there. But in our final news, on my birthday, what a lovely birthday present that I was granted. The Green Lantern HBO Max series is going to cast a Black woman as a new main character. I'm thrilled for this. I am absolutely thrilled. So I don't know who this character is going to be, and they are definitely kind of keeping it under wraps, but author N.K. Jemisin created a Black woman character that is a new Green Lantern in her series. And I hope that that's the direction that they're going in, in case a dynamic author, Black woman author, and she wrote this fantastic otherworldly Green Lantern character. And I'm hoping that they take from that source material and bring it to this new character. That is my hope.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Green Lantern other than the Ryan Reynolds movie. So not familiar at all. And very, very excited to see this new series because I know that the Green Lantern universe is so vast. And there are so many characters. So this is really exciting. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. And I love when a show casts somebody and goes, we're not going to tell you who they are, because then you get fans like coming out of the woodworks being like, what if it's and that's so fun. And I can't wait to see it and then to have the big reveal and then to have people being like, well, I knew it would be whoever. So
you're like, did you know? Did you? So yes, I can't wait. I mean, obviously, Yell and I have both expressed our concerns because, the parties responsible for the Ryan Reynolds film also still responsible for this series. So we are hoping that a few lessons have been learned along the way, is our hope, and that this is a fresh start. I do believe in giving people second chances. I do believe in fresh starts when we come to new content and new mediums. And so hopefully we won't be disappointed. Yes, optimism. Yay. So hopefully we will not be disappointed. That is my hope. I'm going to stick with this level of optimism.
I love it. All right, let's head into Doom Patrol. But again, as a reminder to everybody, this is our first time checking this out. So please do not spoil this in the comments or via Twitter. We are only as far as we are.
Which I will publicly now. I did it in private, but I do believe in public apologies. I will publicly apologize to Yell because I inadvertently spoiled it for her last episode because apparently I accidentally watched the first 5 minutes of episode 6 and I didn't know. And I spoiled something huge. And I apologize because that was not my intent. And I didn't even know that it was episode 6. So this week I was very cautious and I literally was like, stop, as soon as, the credits started to roll on episode 10. So there will be no accidental spoilers this episode.
It was so funny. I really thought that I somehow missed something because you were like, it was so quick. And I was like, how subtle was it? And then I watched it and went, got it. I see what happened.
It was me. I was all wrong. I apologize, man.
Well, let's jump into these 5 episodes. The episodes that we were discussing are episode 6, Doom Patrol, Therapy Patrol, Danny Patrol, Jane Patrol, and Hair Patrol.
The Hair Patrol is literally my favorite title.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's so bizarre.
Okay. All right. There were some big reveals I loved in episode 6, where we do have this terrifying moment with our good friend. What? I'm forgetting her name.
Rita?
Rita. I forgot the name Rita.
I'm like, wait a minute. What's our terrifying friend? Rita. Yes.
Rita. She actually kills someone. I do love the guy's assistant. And then
swept it under the rug. Looks like a heart attack, right? All right.
You weren't even here. Yep. What
Here
a
goes my shirt,
time.
girl. Bye. It was like, oh.
It's a different time. And that led us to the original Doom Patrol. Which
we got to see the originals. I loved that, actually.
Why did you love that?
Only because I feel like we haven't had a lot of context into who Niles is. And I felt like, you know, getting to meet the original Doom Patrol members just gave us kind of an inside look, albeit not one that I was expecting, because obviously by the end of the episode, you realize that everyone is basically in a lucid state, and everything that they experienced was just kind of this idyllic version of what they wanted to occur, but wasn't actually the truth. But even still, we don't really know very much about Niles or why he has this affinity for people who are quote unquote abnormal. And so I just love being able to see the original people that he brought together and their original like goal and their original mission. And also just kind of seeing how their personalities parallel with who he's chosen now. It's really just interesting to see, like, you can see how the old Doom Patrol kind of like their roles were set and how they mirror kind of the new Doom Patrols in a lot of ways. So I actually loved seeing them because it just gives more context to Niles. And obviously Niles is the big mystery. Like, where is Niles is kind of the big mystery of this season, in terms of like, who is Niles? What is Niles? What do we know about Niles? Where is Niles? You know, it's always about Niles, which I'm not going to lie, literally every time they say his name, I just think about Frasier, which is one of my top favorite comedies. And I'm always like, I know where Niles is. And then I'm like, wrong Niles. But so yes, I know where Niles Crane is. I do not know where this Niles is. So
it's interesting because I loved when we got to the Doom Patrol and it was a school and like my X-Men loving heart was exploding. I was like, yes, this is
I thought of you.
Best. And then I was so disappointed that it wasn't. But I also was less surprised that it was what's his head with the helmet doing everything.
Oh, yes. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Like, I genuinely cannot commit it to memory because the entire time I was watching the episode, I was like, every time he comes on the screen, I was like, I don't know this man's name. And him, I can't recall right now as we both look it up because we're like, what is this man's name?
Oh, I'm so close. Hold on. Nope.
I also love that, like, we don't have to. Yes.
Yep. I lost.
Again.
Mento.
Mento. Yes.
Because it's a dumb name.
You think I would remember that, but yet every time I'm like, that man in the helmet, man.
The man in the helmet. Yeah. So it was less surprising that he was controlling it from like the moment we saw him. And I was like, I have questions. And the fact that we all saw them and they were younger, which brought up our very big question that we've had of how like Rita hasn't aged.
Still young.
Yeah. So anyway, so it threw me for a loop for sure. And then I was very upset there was not a superhero school. Like, just, it's my favorite thing in the world, and I was bummed.
I was bummed when we got to the end and he was giving them all their medication and they were all geriatrics in wheelchairs. And I was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, like the reality of it kind of kicked in and it's like, they've been so defeated and they're living in this time warp in their minds, all of them separately. And they are just here all the time. And he just watches them, but he also doesn't age. And we still have no answers. Like, he's taking care of them and he's still young.
Yes.
But why is he still young? They've all aged. What's happening?
Excellent question. I want to give a shout out. I want to give credit to that actor that is Alimi Ballard, whom will always be the Quizmaster from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes. Oh, the original Sabrina, which was so much more lighthearted than the Chilling Adventures. Yes. But love them both equally.
I will say, if you tweet at Quizmaster something about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, he very much acknowledges and is happy. So because he's the Quizmaster.
But he also looks the same age that he does.
Oh, he is not
Sabrina. I mean, like, apart from the show, which I still want to know why they don't age. He still looks the exact same age in general.
Yeah. Like he himself has not aged.
Right.
So we also got Therapy Patrol.
Oh, this was my fave. I really felt like Cliff was giving everything. Cliff was truly giving the performance here in the therapy session. I just feel like there was so much growth that occurred with Cliff, and albeit it was because of the rat, Admiral Whiskers, that we found out just kind of, infected all parts of him. But I will say, before that happened and we found out that it was the rat, I just was like, look at this growth. He's like, we need therapy. I need to talk. I need to get my emotions out. I'm so angry. I need to figure out why. And I was just like, oh, this growth. I just loved everything. I mean, he legitimately got everyone to talk except for Jane, which is a huge feat.
Honestly, the whole episode was like, something's wrong with him. Like, something's wrong. Why is no one noticing that something's clearly wrong? I did not think it was a rat. That was unexpected.
On a revenge plot for the death of his mom.
Yeah. That was the best twist. But the fact that no one was like, something's wrong here is annoying.
Yeah. I definitely... I feel like, Rita was just like, nothing's wrong with him. He just needs therapy, which is also true. He does actually need therapy. And to be fair, Niles has really served as everyone's kind of personal therapist. And with him gone, no one is talking to anyone, particularly each other. So the fact that he did get them to sit down and talk, and he got Larry to share any of his feelings, was like huge. I mean, he got Vic to admit that he killed his mother. He, got Rita to talk herself through getting her legs back and like really kind of talk. I still don't understand her superpower and I still don't think it's awesome, but I love that like he got her to control it and, just through talking. And so I'm like, it was just so much growth. And I mean, it's abnormal for Cliff, obviously, which is why something was wrong with him. But I was just like, oh my gosh, come talk about the performance and all of the turmoil that he is undergoing, knowing that his daughter's alive, knowing that Bump, stepped in and stole his life, quote unquote, according to him, but really honestly just took on an orphan, and who happened to be, his friend's child. Is just, man, so much growth. And then to find out it was a rat. I was also like, y'all really let me down.
Honestly, the rat reveal, and then the story of why it's like the donkey being a door. It doesn't make any sense, and I love it.
I'm like, literally no sense at all. And I was kind of pissed because I was heavily invested in, Cliff's just journey. And I was like, dang, we're already getting so much with only episode 6. Like Cliff really turned a corner, and come to find out this rat just literally jumps out of him. And I was like,
yeah, I genuinely thought that it was like a computer virus or something that Vic's dad did. Like I really thought that there was some technological issue. There was a rat who was avenging his family's death.
Admiral Whiskers. I mean, come on, Admiral Whiskers. Also, the fact that his name is Admiral Whiskers is just too much for me in general. Like, okay, Admiral.
Speaking of characters, let's talk about Danny.
So still don't understand it, but here we are.
Danny is a sentient, genderqueer teleporting street. I thought that the street, that there was going to be something about like the street was kind of like a Pleasantville, where everyone was happy because of something the street was doing, but it's not. Everyone's happy because, the street is allowing them to be themselves. Yeah.
Yes. But they're not even truly happy all the time. Like, remember when remember, there's a portion of it when Morally Corrupt basically says, we're tired and we're actually not happy all the time, but we're trying to keep Danny alive. We're trying to keep Danny going. So we have to pretend like we have to be happy all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're comfortable in their own skin and they have kind of, this safe environment where they can be free to be who they are, but they're tired. And Danny is just like, no, y'all got to keep going because I need your energy, basically. I still don't understand why this is a street. I was like, what is happening? This show is so bizarre, but here we are.
I really loved it. And another disappointment when when Larry didn't get up and sing. And
but it was in his mind.
It was in his mind. It was so heartbreaking.
I forgot like how talented Matt Bomer is. And, in terms of like when he was belting out this in this fictional dream state in his mind when he was singing, I was just like, oh my gosh, I forgot that Matt Bomer can really belt out a tune. And also, like, fun fact, my mom's obsessed with Matt Bomer because she's like obsessed with White Collar. She thinks he is like the most attractive person on the planet.
He is correct.
He is so handsome. And so I just was like, yes, Matt Bomer is singing, like, give it to us. And then to find out, you're right, like, it was a huge disappointment. But I wasn't fully disappointed because Morally Corrupt, honey, I was like.
I am in love with Matt Bomer. I think he is, if not the most attractive man in the world, he is very close. And that he's so talented. He's a singer, a dancer, and like to see him perform, I was like, yes, this is why you do not keep Matt Bomer covered in wrapped up, because he's so handsome and so talented and so wonderful. And so then when it was in his head, I was like, no, Matt, don't you know what talent you have?
Oh, Matt knows. Matt knows. And the producers know too. Everybody should know, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely, I will say, there's a lot that happens throughout kind of these 5 episodes, specifically when it pertains to Larry, because I feel like we got like a ton of Larry backstory. And there's just a lot of sadness because I didn't realize, I will say it had to be in episode 7. So the episode before this, right before they were doing therapy, but I didn't realize that he had to bandage himself every day. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is just heartbreaking. Like the fact that you just have to wake up every day and bandage yourself. I just was like, oh no. So like this group of misfits, like they break my heart every episode. So it was nice to kind of finally see in episode 8 when, Larry was just able to take a moment when we thought he was, and then he actually really wasn't. But to sing and to be free and to be himself and to be amongst, people who loved him and adored him and understood him, and just have that moment of not self-hate, because he does still have, like, I feel like a lot of self-hate.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like, man.
I agree. I think Danny is one of the most interesting characters, and I would watch an entire show about them and the people who live on that street. I think it's such an interesting concept. It's such a fun idea. I wonder, as someone who doesn't know the comics, how is this a thing from the comics? Is this a thing that was made for the show? I'm fascinated by this concept. I'm leaving it to the people. Let us know, because I would watch more of this.
I'm like, we should look into it. Yeah, just to kind of see what the backstory is, because I remember thinking this is wildly bizarre though in general, that the street, because just the way that they did it, and just, kind of showing up with that cake and having the cake kind of be the gateway. And then, you're having so many things. And then for a moment in time before I found out that like Danny could teleport, I didn't know if it was all in Morally Corrupt. And I don't know his, I think it was Agent Wilson. Yes, Agent Wilson. I didn't know if it was all in Agent Wilson's mind, you know, because like the way that it just kind of disappeared. So I was like, oh, well, maybe this isn't real and it doesn't exist, you know? So it just, I don't know, the way they did it, man, it wild. But listen, again, you can give me more of Morally Corrupt. I watch that, honey, because Danny Street and the Danisons, yes, but like Morally Corrupt, absolutely. We'll watch a full show of just Morally Corrupt, you know, kicking ass, basically.
Right.
Yes, sign me up.
We got to keep moving. Our next episode was Jane Patrol, where we got to see what was going on with Jane because of that whole wedding situation.
Karen is so I will say, before we got to see like really what happened with Jane, we got the scenario with Karen and Doug, which is wild. And I kept saying to myself, what is Karen's superpower? Because each personality does have a superpower, and clearly hers is putting spells on people, which I was like, oh, to make them agreeable and fall in love with you. And I mean, this scenario was very, you said Pleasantville, like it reminded me of that. It reminded me of a Stepford wife. She clearly was a Stepford wife. Karen's personality and the fact that Rita hated her, but they are very similar. And I definitely feel like Karen has like, you know, I feel like Jane basically took some of Rita's like clothing and era and everything and transformed into Karen, if that's even possible, in a lot of ways. So it's interesting that Rita basically hates her and Karen's like, what are you saying, silly? We're best friends. Wild. Like, I was like, okay. I mean, listen, I just feel like getting a chance to see these personalities at work finally was everything.
I absolutely loved getting to see who these characters are, not through the filter of Jane. So seeing what Hammerhead looks like, seeing what Baby Doll looks like really removes my love of the Baby Doll outfit. Like, I loved Jane as Baby Doll. So I regret what I said last week of style icon. So I'm taking it back. But I really loved getting to meet them, and that Cliff went in to meet them. I think that's so crazy, and I do like that the metaphor of her mind, you know, works, and like it's a metaphor that actually makes sense of the trains and the stations and all of that. I think that's really interesting. And then we got, I think, you know, I think we have an understanding of what happened to Jane as a child. I think we have a clearer picture, but, you know, there might be more to it that we haven't yet explored. But I did like that we got it.
I think that there's a reason why we didn't get the full picture that we think we did, if that makes sense. Like, I think there's a reason why we got a snippet, because I do think there's a lot more. And yeah, it was nice to finally understand Jane, because I feel like there's so much rage that we see from her. You know, oftentimes the majority of, I think, the first 5 episodes are really Jane's rage. You know, we don't really get to see, even with Baby Doll, like you see hints of it, but we just don't understand what's going on. And we don't understand why she has so many. I mean, we know, we can kind of allude to the fact that like she has some very significant trauma, and that's why she has all of these personalities. But there is no explanation as to why all of these personalities have superpowers, because I think that's actually really interesting. Like, yes, we understand that she created kind of these other people in order to protect herself, but we still, like, the fact that they are all metahumans is wild to me. Like, I think that that's even like wilder, you know? So I just, it was nice to kind of get their perspective and also to see how they operate, because Jane is the primary. They kept saying Jane is the primary, but they also kept saying, well, we used to have another primary and then something happened. And so, you know, like this happened and this happened. So just being able to kind of understand her a little bit more on a deeper level, I think, obviously, you know, was something that I didn't expect to get this early on. I definitely thought that we would see more personalities, but I didn't think it would be like before season 2, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
I mean, because we met like all of them, you know what I mean? Like I didn't think that was going to happen before season 2, probably. I thought that, and I also didn't think it was going to be like this. And I think it was actually a really wise choice by the writers to do it like this.
I agree. I didn't think we'd meet all of them so quickly. I'm grateful. But I do like the way that it was done. I do like that Cliff went in and we got to see it because he is the closest to her, which is hilarious because he's also the newest. It's very,
and also their relationship is the most fraught, I feel like even still, but there is a part of her, and I liked that he was in one of her memories. And I liked that, you know, there was a moment where one of the personalities, I can't remember her name, I think it's Penny, it is Penny, where Penny said to him, you know, this was the most dangerous memory of all because you gave us hope. And so I think that's why she allows him in, is because a lot like Niles, who she let in, like there's a different layer. She almost feels like she can let her shield down and almost be herself. But she doesn't want that to backfire. And, you know, people have hurt her consistently for a very long time. So, I just feel like it was just very interesting, and bravo for the way that they did it, because I honestly didn't even see that coming. The simulation of her giant father and her finally confronting him, I thought was really good too. But it was interesting to me that still didn't pull her out. Like, even though she confronts her dad, she's still there. Like, it takes still a lot more healing than that for her to actually come out of her shell and the underground and the hole that she's in. But
I'm excited for more Jane. But while they're doing that, we have the Beard Hunter.
Yes, so we get to episode 10 finally, and this one again is still my favorite title, Hair Patrol, because I never saw it coming. So in my mind, I thought Hair Patrol meant I would see lots of wonderful 80s hairstyles, because that is just what I was thinking. I never thought that we were going to get basically like a hairy cave woman and the Beard Hunter absorbing facial hair in order to find out more about people. Didn't think that was going to be what we meant by hair at all.
Another weird episode. This history of Niles that I appreciated we got, this idea that he used to work for the agency, that now we understand who they are and what they are and how they started and how they shifted. This weird life he had
in the mountains, in the north, which is so funny because as soon as the narrator says you went to the north and you fell in love, he's like, big deal. We all go to Canada. I was like, oh my gosh, like why on earth? But it's funny because when he kept saying I'm in the north, I was like, where are you? And then he's like, you went to Canada. And I'm like, and there we are. Okay.
And then the Beard Hunter is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Gross. I mean, honestly, like the way he absorbed Vic's, like, I was like, look. And then the blob the entire time I was watching, I mostly was grossed out. And so I was like, please turn this off. But it's his superpower.
Yeah. And he's a weirdo. Like the fact that he's also weird. It's so funny. Anyway. Yep. Those are the 5 episodes that we watched this time. What was your, we got to rate it first. Where do you rate this? From poops to kittens. That's right. Here at Super Lady Hero Hour, we rate everything from poops to kittens, and anywhere in between.
I'm going to give it a puzzle piece this week. Puzzling. It's always puzzling. Literally always puzzling. I'm still confused. I still don't know about Niles, and that Niles-centric episode just made me even more skeptical, especially because I don't know his intentions, and especially because there comes a point in the Niles-centric episode where he's like, I don't care about those Doom Patrol people. I would get rid of them all. I'm here to protect my lady. And I'm like, wait a minute, pause. You pretend like you care about them, and now you will throw them all under the bus. So why are they trying to save you? So yes, I'm still puzzled. So that's where it is for me. What about you? Where does your rating lie this week?
I'm gonna give it Candy this week.
Oh, so much candy. I feel like we're playing Candyland.
I give it Candy because mostly I liked it, but there are some things that were sour and made me go, I don't like that. Look at that metaphor.
Yes, I am into this. You like pulled it out with that sour sweet scenario. Okay. So let's dive into WTF moments. For me, I will say Admiral Whiskers, definitely a WTF moment. Wasn't expecting a rat to pop out. The Beard Hunter, yes. But more specifically, at the end of episode 10, when the Beard Hunter finds that creepy ventriloquist doll of Niles in the basement, and there is the spirit, which I wasn't sure if that was a bear, deer. It was a hybrid spirit animal, the one that Niles' girlfriend, cave woman girlfriend, was channeling. I still don't know if that's actually her.
Or if she controls it.
Yes. Yeah. And also, why is he a ventriloquist doll? Like that's actually, that was creepiest to me, because I was like, his face was complete. I was like, what is happening? You're in this wheelchair. You have no eyes. And then I looked closer and I was like, oh, you're like your mouth is moving, but you're completely wrapped up. But what is happening? Is this also your spirit? Are they both just two spirits in here? Did he find the spirits? Also, that staircase that the Beard Hunter walked down, gorgeous, but also, is this the stairway to hell? Like, what is happening? I mean, honestly.
My WTF moment has to be Admiral Whiskers literally popping out of the mouth of Cliff. So, like, not even the backstory of his family getting killed. Him popping out. That was when I went, what? And the Beard Hunter eating the gunk from the sink. That was it. Those are my moments.
Those are great moments because they were disgusting. And so, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, I agree with all those things, obviously. And so on to predictions before we dive into our last two segments. What do you think is going to happen? I hope we meet Mr. Nobody finally, because I'm tired of hearing about him.
Interesting.
That's my prediction.
I hope we conclude. So we have 5 episodes left in this season. I hope we conclude the Mr. Nobody story. I hope that all of this concludes in a way that we can start something else crazy next season. I also want the weirdos that we've met along the way. Like, I want Danny to return and be part of what happens. I want, I just want everyone that we've met along the way to there to be a point to everything. Like, Admiral Whiskers should be part of something. That's all.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Admiral Whiskers just moved on with his life. He's
or just died.
Yes, maybe, because also being in that robot for so long, I'm sure he contracted something he didn't eat. I mean, there's a lot of things that have probably happened to Admiral Whiskers from that.
Right.
All right, so our segment, Woman Performer of the Week.
Yeah.
All right, I will kick us off, and I will say that I have a few things. So my Woman Performer of the Week is going to go with Morally Corrupt. I definitely think when Morally Corrupt single-handedly kicked the Bureau's behind, that was a stellar performance for me. Yes. If we're just talking about main cast, I will also go with Jane. I feel like the Jane-centric episode was so, so good. And even though obviously she didn't play all of the characters, she plays enough of them. And just I don't know, Karen, Jane, the struggles, Penny, like, oh my gosh, it was just so good. And then, of course, I mentioned this a little bit before, but I'm going to give a little honorable shout out to someone who is not a woman, but is a robot. Because as we found out in the episode, he doesn't feel like a man anymore either. So I'm just going to give a robot shout out to Cliff, because Cliff was really going through it, and Cliff needs more. And I love Cliff. So
all right. I agree that if we're going to go with main cast, Jane, the performance and all of her characters were incredible. But I'm going to go with, as we've been calling her, Niles' girlfriend,
yes.
whose name is, I believe, Slava is the character's name. And I thought that was such an interesting, it's an interesting performance because she had to get everything across without saying anything that we'd understand. So really incredible performance on her part. Also, to make us like a character that we can't understand is such a challenge. Yes. So definitely giving her my woman performer of the week. Let's move on to our style icon of the week. I'm going to let you start this one.
So my style icons go to Jane's personalities in the underground. I mean, the range, the distinction, the variation. I was loving little Penny's get up. You know, she's from London. She's distinguished. She also was giving me, you know, just all of the little like equestrian vibes. So she was, and I was like, yay. And then Hammerhead style, I was like, okay, I see it. And then, you know, we got Baby Doll, but I didn't actually, Baby Doll style didn't really stand out. There was one woman, and I can't remember her name, but she was like, Jane, pull it together. That style, her outfit, loved it. So I'm like, you know, Jane, those personalities in the underground. That's my style character icons. It's multiple people in one, but style icons of the week.
I'm going to go with the original Doom Patrol in their like old school uniforms. So fun. Really, like that felt very superhero-y and campy, and I really enjoyed that. So that's where I'm going with my style icon of the week.
Well, I thought that they looked gorgeous, and when they took those photos, fantastic. So I agree with you, girl. I agree. All right, so this is the end of our show. It's been a fabulous show. We love getting to watch Doom Patrol and figuring it all out, even though I have no idea where it's going. So before we get out of here, Yell, please tell the people where they can find you and what are you up to this week?
Thank you. I am everywhere on social media at Yell Teagle. That's YAELTYGIEL. That's on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays, horribly playing games. And SVU is back this week. You can check me out Sundays at 2:00. That's before this show on FANVERSATION's YouTube channel. That's this YouTube channel on Law & Order S Review, where we discuss all the episodes. We just did 2 episodes that are fan favorite episodes. And now the new show's coming back. We'll be doing the new season starting next week. KB, where are you at this week? What are you up to?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Lady KB, TheLadyKayb. As always, YouTube through the lens of Lady KB. If you honestly just search Lady KB, it'll pop up. And this week, I don't know where you can find me. Just check out Twitter because anything is possible. Have some fun things coming down the pipeline. A lot of things happening on Friday. Some interviews coming along the way. And we'll see. I'll be posting on YouTube and I'll be posting on Twitter and we'll just see what the world happens. But most importantly, you can find Yell and I both here on Sundays at 4 p.m. PT time to discuss Doom Patrol next Sunday And we're going to be talking about episodes 11 through 15, the remainder of season 1. So don't forget to hit subscribe, FANVERSATION, subscribe, and then join us next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.